What's going on, YouTube Nights? Welcome to the Cover Price Top 10 for the week ending 8/30. Before we get to the top 10, we just want to acknowledge that we lost a giant of the comic book movie community, a great actor. So we just want to pay this little tribute before we start the show.
We must find a way to look after one another as if we were one single tribe.
What's going on, YouTube Nights? This is the Cover Price Top 10. That's Manimal. This is TiVo. I know it's been a kind of a crazy year, not alone a crazy weekend, but we're going to try to trudge through this as best we can to get your mind off of things. But, you know, I just wanted to pay a tribute to Chadwick Boseman and the great actor he was, and just say Wakanda forever, baby.
The world's three greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Now that's a name I've not heard.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is upright.
Shake and bake and pull it back.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is upright. In this, you shall know that the Lord is upright.
Go on and get some, boys. Jack, here's the deal. I'm the best there is.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is upright.
What's in the box?
Like a spider monkey.
What's good, everybody? Zach, how you doing, brother?
I'm chilling, man. Just hanging out, ready to get into this Cover Price Top 10. Definitely a interesting week. Some books on here that came out of nowhere compared to some of the other books we've been seeing. But, you know, hey, the market changes, things change, and new comics pop
The
up.
Donna Cates over-under this week is 2.5, because you remember last week, the last two spots were in 9 and 10, and then he had, I think, one in the middle somewhere. So we'll see how it goes. But before we get started, boys and girls, this show is sponsored by our friends over at CovrPrice.com. Go to CovrPrice.com. Sign up for a 2-week free trial for all your collecting needs. We are on the last day of our Cover Price Top 10 our Cover Price 1-year subscription giveaway as part of the 5,000 subscription Lords giveaway. And to thank you guys also, Sith Lordy will drop the link in the live chat there. So make sure you guys sign up. You just got to click on that link. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you're already a CovrPrice member, if you win, there's going to be 3 drawings. So 3 people will win. And if you already have a 1-year subscription, the additional 1 year will be added when your subscription ends. So that's pretty cool. The show is also sponsored by our friends over at KRScomics.com. Go to KRScomics.com. Use discount code of LOTLB to get 15% off anything at KRS Comics exclusives. Also, our friends at the Geeky Swag Shop. Use discount code LOTLB to get 10% off anything. T-shirts just shipped this week. I just got my 2 white tees, and they are so soft and perfect for the summertime, man. I was wearing a black tee. I was like, man, this weekend is going to be 105 in Southern California. Dang. Not even the Palm Springs is going to be like 122. It's going to be ridiculous, but it's a dry heat is what they pay. The show is also hot.
It's still hot as hell. It don't matter.
It is when it's hot outside at nighttime, and it's stagnant air. There's no breeze at all. You leave the windows open, it's nothing. But also our friends at RocketComics.com. Tell them the Lord sent you, get 20% off your pressing order. I have a giant shipment that I hope to get back really soon. All 9/8 not. Also, a show is sponsored by our friends at Comics, Tunes, and Toys. Hit up the Big To Do on Instagram. They're always doing cool mystery boxes, and we do the sales every now and then. Right now, it's a little low. As soon as you get some cool stuff in, I'm pretty sure we will rock it. But those are all, well, get it, Rocket Comics. So as usual, this is the CovrPrice top 10. This is data that's compiled from about 4 or 5 different sales websites, and we drop it to you the week after it happens. And it's interesting to see how the market trends are. Also, shout out to the new Lords producer, James Simon of 42 Cut Production. He put together that little homage for Chadwick Boseman, and I don't want to get too into it, but we'll talk about it toward the end of the show because, we still have a thing to do, so it's kind of awkward, but, we'll address things as they come. So let's get right to it, boys and girls. As always, there's always one that doesn't quite make the top 10, and we like to call that our runner-up, and this week it is Black Panther #1. Oh, our friend Ken Lashley. Look at that, a Ken Lashley variant. So obviously, how do I say this? All right. Our friends from CovrPrice wrote up a nice little thing about this. So I'm just going to read it. And I'm sure Manimal and I echo the same sentiments that I'm going to read verbatim here. With the tragic passing of Black Panther actor Chadwick Boseman comes the inevitable questions of what happens next for the Black Panther corner of the MCU. The difficult and uncomfortable side of comic book speculation is the determination of what character will take over the Black Panther mantle. These conversations are a hot button topic when it comes to profiting from a death. Regardless of those conversations, his death instantly lit a fire under Shuri's key issues with the expectation that she'll take on the mantle. The first cover appearance of Shuri is Black as Black Panther moved both the Campbell, which had a high sale of $295, and the Lashley variant to insane new heights. With the Campbell variant had more of a jump, the Lashley variant had both a jump and sold more copies. 14 had a 7-day trend of 151%, had a high sale of $270 for a CGC 9.8. And I probably bundled that up because it was a long read. But basically, what we're echoing is their sentiments that out of tragedy, and I'm not blaming anybody, it's just the nature of the beast, right? When Stan Lee died, Stan Lee memorabilia flooded the market. And you can say that about most professional athletes. When Kobe Bryant passed away, all of his merchandise flooded the market. So we are a capitalistic market, and some people take advantage of that. People
try to profit on sympathy, and people love Black Panther, so they pick up the books, whether it's for nostalgia or, they love the character, they love Chadwick Boseman, and there's always going to be people there who sell them. I mean, it's just the nature of the world, unfortunately.
It is. And unfortunately, we are not going to talk about Chadwick Boseman's replacement, what they're going to do, what the plans are, because it seems a bit crass to even have that discussion right now. Right. So I would also respectfully ask the live chat, let's not talk about who is going to be replacing Black Panther in the upcoming MCU. And let's just celebrate the man's life first before we worry about replacing him already. That's, and obviously this book is something that people are speculating on because they think Shuri is going to be replacing the Black Panther. So I'm not going to cast judgment. It's just the way the market is. And we kind of knew this was going to happen. And our private chats were like, I guarantee you some of these books are going to pop up. Fantastic 452 was all over the place on eBay the day it happened. It's just the nature of the beast. And unfortunately, it's something we have to deal with. But we do this list based on what the sales trends are and what they're actually showing. And so, unfortunately, we have to talk about this. But I would just ask in the live chat, let's not talk about, who's replacing the Black Panther. Let's celebrate the man, because the man had a great life, not only as a Black Panther, but as Thurgood Marshall, as James Brown, as Jackie Robinson. And, let's not talk about all the coincidences and numbers and stuff. It's kind of, let's just enjoy the man for who he was, because he was a great man and did a ton for not only a whole group of people, but entire continents, right? So there you go. So number 11, or the top runner up, is Black Panther #1, the Ken Lashley variant. All right, so let's get right to the top 10, boys and girls. What do we got at 10, Zach?
So number 10 is going to be kind of dovetailing as well, following after kind of what Tim said here. As he mentioned, Shuri books are hot right now. So we've got Black Panther #2. Obviously, we're not trying to talk about the loss, but we can't avoid the fact that these books have jumped. So first appearance of Shuri took off, sold 24 copies, had a 7-day trend of 149%, and had a high sale of $455 for a CGC 9.8. And then right after we ran the top 10, and 9.8 sold for $745. So that book jumped an additional $300 pretty much in the time span of a day, maybe, So Black Panther #2, this is the Marvel Knights. I think you said it earlier when we were off screen, volume 4, right? Of Black Panther.
This is Black Panther volume 4. Yeah.
So first appearance of Shuri. You knew it was going to show up. And if this is number 10, shit. Just wait.
Yeah, so there you go. Number 10 on the list is Black Panther Volume 4, #2 from 2005. So Wakanda forever, baby. All right, number 9 on the list is an oldie but goodie. If you thought you were done with Batwang, you are wrong.
I never thought, book, man. I love this book. Is the book that has legs, that the little engine that could, man. It never stops.
We never thought we said Batwing again, but there it is. So he's back. My Comic Shop has been moving a ton of copies at $70 each, causing this book to trend once again. It's amazing how high this still sells for a raw and how graded copies sell for as well. This week it sold 21 copies, had a 7-day trend of 200% at a high sale of $70. I can only imagine why this book is jumping up is because of the anything in the periphery of Batman after the Matt Reeves trailer drop from DC Fandom. I'm thinking, people don't quite know what the true storyline is. Maybe people are guessing here, there, and the other, but there it is again. Batwing is back again. I mean, I would have to look on the census. I wonder how many graded copies are out, because this thing.
I had 2 9.8s. I had the Jim Lee and I had this one. And keep in mind, this is the hardback. These things were coming in. People were getting these 10-0s.
There's a ton of 9.9s out there. That's because this is like hard card stock. I mean, if you got a 9.6, you were probably like, man, I'm a loser.
If you got a 9.6, you did something to that book, because these things were almost indestructible.
And I almost think like, man, you'd have to buy 2 copies, one to read and one to grade, because once you read it, I don't think you can get a 9.9. Because once it causes those creases, kind of like, have you ever seen like the Killing Joke and how hard it was? Like it's almost hard to open the pages. You're like, man, I'm gonna ruin this. So
I'll tell you what, man, I did that same thing. So I bought the 2 of them. I read this cover and I kept my Jim Lee variant unopened. Shit still came back in 9.8. So lucky ass people, whoever
you complain, dude. That is so 2020 when you complain about a 9.8.
Well, on this book you didn't want a 9.8.
Yeah, that is true.
So many of them you wanted the 9.9 or the 10.0 so you could set yourself apart.
Yeah, I mean, besides that, the Bermejo art is just absolutely just phenomenal.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. So number 9 on the list. If you had Batwang on your 2020 bingo card, there you go. Number 9 on the list is Batman Damned #1. All right. Let's get on to number 8. Boys and girls who are playing at home, drink every time I say boys and girls. So boys and girls, number 8 is
number 8.
I get to say this. Oh, that's you. Good, because I didn't want to have to say this title again.
So this one's been popped up. It's been around for a while. Everyone knows this book. We got Dark Knight's Death Metal, Legends of the Dark Knights, #1. If you don't know what the big deal about this book is, and you're a comic book fan, you've been underneath a rock. This is Robin King's first appearance, even though there are some debates on what that goes for. We'll see what CGC says, I guess, if they haven't already. Sold 53 copies, had a 7-day trend of 78%, had a high sale of $100 for a CGC 9.8. This is the original cover. There's a pretty awesome Virgin variant out there. There's a couple of those, but you know what? This is the one that's had the longest legs here. Probably because there's other ones are so few. But
yeah, 52 copies in a week though. My God, that's amazing. I mean, it's number 8. Last week it was higher up on the list, so I'd be curious to see if it still clings on at in the top 10 because it's at number 8 right now. For those playing at home, the over under Donny Cates game. You haven't seen the Donny Cates book yet, have you?
So real quick, I want to speak on the death metal stuff right now. Like DC, say what you will, whether you're a Marvel, DC fan, and everyone's got their ride or die that they go with. And usually one of the things I've always loved about DC is in terms of their events, they keep them pretty consolidated. They don't spill out all over the place. That has not been the case with this death metal. It seems like every week they're adding new titles, and this is becoming almost like a Marvel event. Like one of the worst Marvel event of all time, in my opinion, was Secret Wars 2.
Yeah, definitely 2.
The modern one, when they just had all those different spinoff titles, and they were god-awful. And death metal, man, I mean, I don't know. We haven't got a lot of these little one-shots yet, but every time I open a DC book, they're everywhere. So we'll see, man.
This is like a major events things, we'll see, like if Robin King will have legs, but you remember like the last thing was the Batman Who Laughs, right? That was all over the place. Then after a while he went away, but look, he's back again. So
I love me some Batman Who Laughs. I'm a believer.
Yeah. So I don't know how he sees with those spikes in his eyes, but he's so powerful that he can do it. So there you go.
I'm looking at this 1/3 scale Batman Who Laughs statue I got right now.
Oh, shoot. All right, boys and girls. So number 8 is Dark Knight's Death Metal Legends of the Dark Knights, #1. Wow, that is a mouthful. All right, let's move on to number 7 on the list. Surprise, another DC book and another Batman adjacent book. Of course, this is the other kind of big DC thing that's going on right now. Three Jokers has been talked about since the 2016's Justice League 50 when Batman asked Morbius' chair to show him the Joker's real name and instead revealed that there have been 3 Jokers throughout Batman's history. Spoiler alert, this series has been highly anticipated and the market reacted with this 1 in 100 variant. Look at a 1 in 100 variant sold 58 copies. That is amazing to me, unless it was the same person that bought them all, but 58 copies of 1 in 100. Geez, that's normally kind of hard to find, but that just shows you there were a ton of these ordered, so a lot of people had the 1 in 100 variants. Had a 7-day trend of 75% and a high raw sale, mind you, of $153, which, I guess makes sense since, it's a 1 in 100, so you're going to see raw grades go a bit higher. So I believe the only difference between this one and the other one is the black and white. Yeah, it's black and white. I mean,
there's a couple. They came out with a bunch of different covers on this. You got the Joker with the crowbar, Joker with the red hood. You've got a Red Hood character. There's a bunch of a Batgirl cover. The good thing about this, kind of also like the Batman Damned, is it's not the prestige format, but it is also that hard cardstock with the squareback binding. So
there you go.
Good book, man. This is something I've been waiting for forever. I'm like very Gary. I'm a big Fabook and Jeff Johns fan. I mean, this has been a story I've been waiting on for a long time.
So there you go. Number 7 on the list, Batman 3 Jokers, #1, the J.C. Fabook black and white 1 in 100 variant. All right, let's get right to it, boys and girls. What do we got? It's number 6.
Wow, so this one's kind of a little out of left field in terms of this list we have today. So we've got number 6 is going to be Spider-Man Noir, number 3, the O'Keefe variant, 1 in 25. So with the first appearance of Spider-Man Noir hitting $700+ in a 9.8 now, there's a heavy demand for this alternate version of Peter Parker. That demand spilled over to this great variant and sold 10 copies, had a 7-day trend of 441%, and had a high raw sale of $70. So, Spider-Man, always going to be a big sell. People are out here creeping on the Black Panther books, creeping on the Batman books, and secretly, Spider-Man Noir, number 3, comes in. So
this is my guess. So they're in full production right now of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the sequel. And as we said with Miles Morales, people knew that the PS5 game was coming. People knew that they're going to start production on this. So I would say people in the know told other people, and they started snatching books up. My guess is Spider-Man Noir will be back and Into the Spider-Verse Part 2. And this is pure speculation on my part, but that's typically I try to find a reason why these books may be jumping. My guess is that's the reason why. That, because then you ask, well, how come Spider-Man Noir, the first appearance, isn't on there? Because that book has already been priced out by people. You know what I mean? So, it's plus this is a cool cover. People find a variant. So I don't know if some YouTuber, a blogger said, hey, maybe you should go out and look for this. But, either way, it's moving for some reason. So number 6 on the list, Spider-Man Noir. Number 3, the Patrick O'Keefe 1 in 25 variant. All right, let's get up to it. Next up on the list, boys and girls, Black Panther number 1. This is the classic Jack Kirby goodness. And you know what? All the news that dropped over the weekend, we didn't even talk about, Clifford Robinson, and then just recently, John Thompson, and Lute Olson, all the people that passed away. No, we didn't really get to celebrate the King's birthday. It was Jack King Kirby's 103rd birthday. That just passed. So it's this is a kind of perfect combination for both. Honestly, this is just the beginning of the Black Panther book heat. Like we've seen with other hot books, this high market interest will spill over to outlier Black Panther books, which already has the rise of the Black Panther number 1 and variants. However, compared to the Shuri books, this trending first issue feels more like a collector's mourning and reaching out to own a piece of Black Panther history. This issue sold 31 copies, had a 7-day trend of 157%, had a high sale for $475 for a CGC 9.6, not even a 9.8. This is a tough nut to crack in a 9.8. So this one seems more like, you know what? I just want a piece of the Black Panther. Like I said, FF52 was really high price. So hopefully you're able to get a piece of Jack Kirby goodness doing his solo work with Black Panther. So Wakanda Forever for number 5, baby. Black Panther number 1. All right, let's get on to it. We're halfway there, boys and girls. Drink at home. Let's go. I missed out on this one. I wanted this so bad. What do you got for number 4?
So number 4 is another interesting one. And you know what? Kind of why I like this, and I'm not even really a Spawn fan, but I like this one because I remember one of the first top 10s we did with CovrPrice, the Spawn variant with the Gunslinger was one of the books. And I remember being like, oh, I had never seen that before. That's really cool. So this one we got Spawn 309. This is the McFarlane variant. Gunslinger Spawn right on the front cover. People love it. People wanted to know more about this, the reintroduction of this character. This cover sold 89 copies, had a 7-day trend of 58%, and had a high raw sale of $41. I mean, a McFarlane cover, Spawn, come on, man. And the Gunslinger Spawn, shit.
You know what I actually like better than this one, and it's surprisingly cheap. I'm gonna go out and get it. Is the Frazetta homage cover, which have you seen that one? I think I put it in one of the other ones. So basically,
No.
it's the famous or artwork that Frazetta did for Death Dealer when he's on the horse, and it's Spawn on the horse.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if that's
you're speaking a little ahead here, bro.
Is that on the list?
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah, disregard what I just said. But shout out to our friend Dave in the Cave for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate you, brother. Make sure you check out Dave in the Cave on 3 Men in the Basement. I forgot to say something, but I was going to say, hey, we really appreciate the super chats that you guys give us every now and then. But if you are thinking about doing a super chat today, save the money and donate to cancer research, more specifically colon cancer. I would just think that would be apropos since we're kind of doing stuff about, this stuff. I appreciate the $5 super chat, Dave in the Cave. If anybody else wants to leave a super chat, please go find a cancer research charity or a thing that you can donate to, especially if it's colon cancer, which affects both men and women, but more so men. And men at a younger age, it seems now more and more so. So I'll talk about it a little bit later at the end of the show. But number 4 on the list is Spawn, number 309, the Todd McFarlane variant.
Yeah, I was trying to sit here and play it off. You're like, hey, have you seen that Death Dealer? And I'm like, no, I haven't.
Well, you know what? That's what we call foreshadowing, folks. Because number 3 on the list is
that's what we call old ass brain. You can't remember nothing.
That is true. Speculation. Hercules.
Good.
Number 3 on the list is the said cover I was just talking about. This is Spawn number 309. This is the badass Frank Frazetta homage cover. While a McFarlane cover is always a win over other Spawn covers, this Frazetta Death Dealer homage is awesome. And it sold 50 copies at a 7-day trend of 141% and a high sale of $30. I need this in my life. I am a huge Frazetta fan. I have some Frazetta art, not original art, but I love his fantasy style ever since I was a young buck. This cover screams badass. It's not Spawn Gunslinger though. This is, if I believe, this is Medieval Spawn or Dark Ages Spawn. There's one of those guys that were, one of those toy lines that Todd McFarlane always made. But this is simply badass. And it even says it, Todd McFarlane after Frazetta at the bottom. If you don't remember, I think in the 90s, maybe early 2000s, there was an actual Death Dealer comic that Frazetta, they pulled some Frazetta art for, which is incredible. If you haven't seen it, go peep it out. So
this is a Ken Lashley.
Yes, Ken. Remember when I interviewed Ken for the show, he said
he was talking about it.
His next big thing was going to be Ken Lashley, and Ken Lashley killed it. Yep. So there's I had a whole story with that with Ken Lashley. This is when right after Dan DiDio was fired. He called Ken Lashley into his office back last October and asked Ken, "Hey man, do you want to work on some of these 5G characters?" And Ken was like, "Well, I'm kind of working on this Milestone stuff." And at that point, Dan DiDio had told him, "No, Milestone is dead. You want to work on these?" And he gave him one of the Holy Trinity characters. I can't tell you because that he told me that in confidence, but he basically gave him either a choice of
Batman. Out of 3.
Exactly. So there you go. Narrowed it down. But that Ken Lashley, this is actually Ken Lashley's he's doing a limited run on this because Todd is, I think because Philip Tan preceded Ken Lashley on here, but Ken Lashley's work I think is perfect for Spawn. And I would joke with Ken Lashley about, hey man, did you guys debate, how long Spawn's cape was? And, as a joke and Ken Lashley goes, dude, we literally had an hour conversation about Spawn's cape and how it should look. And I was like, there you go. That's hardcore right there. So we got 2 Spawn books on the list, both number 309. One is the McFarlane and one is this dope Death Leader. I need to go get one. I think there's some ones out here, but they don't have, like, this is a limited trade dress because the ones I saw have this banner over the top of it. I don't know if you guys have seen it. So, this would look great. This is like the perfect comic to have a Virgin variant of. Just remove the Spawn logo just to see the art. It would be incredible. All right. So Spawn number 3 is Spawn number 309. Next up on the list is another fandom leftover maybe.
Yeah, this is a goodie. I mean, this is, look, like we said earlier on this list, it was going to be heavy because of the tragedy that just happened. But this is the stuff I'd like to see here. We got Superman number 4. This is coming off of the fandom. Now I say that, but I also I warn very many people about buying Suicide Squad first appearances and what the legs are going to be like that. But this is the first appearance of Bloodsport. We all know Idris Elba is going to be playing him. Market jumped all over this book and moved 56 copies, had a 7-day trend of 144%, and had a high raw sale of $47. So, like I said, Suicide Squad, this guy may not be around very long. The name says it all. So
James Gunn even said, man, he's going to be killing off a ton of dudes.
Don't be connected to these characters unless Harley Quinn. That might be the only one who doesn't die. So
even Deadshot's not even back for the damn sequel. So but that's amazing to me that nobody knew Bloodsport was coming, right? I mean, did Gunn really keep it a secret?
Thought he was going to be Deadshot. Actually, Idris Elba for a while they believed he was going to take over the Deadshot character. But yeah, dude. I mean, this book you could probably find this in a dollar bin. I mean, this book's just been sitting around somewhere. Superman number 4. Come on.
May not even in a dollar bin. Nobody collects Superman from 1986, man.
Right.
So, I was watching. Did you ever see that movie Hobbs and Shaw?
No, I didn't see.
And
that.
Idris Elba plays the baddie in it. He's a pretty badass
Superman
in that
character.
Yeah, he's pretty badass in that. I'm like, I'm down for seeing some Idris Elba, tear it up, man. I was like, that's a great casting that they got him. So, and he's a big dude. If you ever seen Idris Elba, he's a big dude. I mean, he's kind of old, but man, he's in great shape. I mean, I wish I'd look that good.
Total side note, just Idris Elba here. I'm a massive Dark Tower fan. And when they cast him as Roland Deschain in the movie, whether the movie wasn't that good or not, whatever you want to say
I
about
didn't mind the movie. It was silly and fun, you know.
it was those books are like my favorite of all time, and I love Idris Elba. And when they cast him, I was all about it.
Yeah. You know, the movie's kind of kooky here and there, but for the most part, I have fun with it. Like, you know, I guess, you know, Matthew McConaughey is kind of a character of himself. Whenever you see him, you just think, all right. Or like thinking deep thoughts, driving a Lincoln Navigator down the road. You know what I mean? And so he was the villain in that. And then when I think about it, I was like, you know what? He's kind of perfectly cast as a villain.
He's Randall Flagg. I mean, that's one of the biggest Stephen King villains of all time.
And I think, aren't they redoing they're doing a Dark Tower series on Amazon Prime, right?
There's been a lot of talk back and forth. I don't know which way it's going to go.
Anything Stephen King cannot be a movie. If you read any of his books, dude, there is so much exposition and prose in it. My God, you have to make a series to truly flesh out the characters. I think, you know,
I actually read a really big article right now how like Stephen King adaptations have been on the decline for a while until recently with like the Under the Dome show, and then now they're on the rise again. So you definitely see this like rise and fall. And yeah, like Thunderhouse said, The Stand is coming to CBS All Access.
There you go, and
it's going to be awesome. You got Randall Flagg in that.
This is the second time there was a Stand miniseries that was on ABC, like
Gary Sinise.
Yeah, back in the 90s. Yeah. So the last Stephen King novel I read was The Stand. My God, that is a long book. That is classic Stephen King doing just, hey, I got this character's backstory. Let me spend a good 500 pages on it just to flesh it out. So, but you know, The Stand is the classic story of good and evil, you know, God versus the devil, everything. And, you know,
very fitting for the era right now with the pandemic.
There you go. Shit, that's all we need is people just watching The Stand and thinking that it's coming for real. All right, so number 2 on the list. If you were playing at home and you ever thought that Bloodsport would be number 2 on the list, you just won. Or as Mary Jane Watson would say, face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot. So what leaves us at number 1 for those playing at home? If you played the under on Donny Cates' 2.5, you won. If you played 0 as the over under, you won doubly, because guess what number 1 is? That's right, boys and girls. Batman 3 Jokers, number 1. This is the actual lower variant than the 1 in 100. Obviously, the 1 in 25 is probably going to move more because there are more copies of them. But well, how did this book move? It may not be shaking the market in value, but its uber green cover sold 102 copies at a 7-day trend of 93% at a high raw sale of 38. And when you think about 102 copies, man, I went to my LCS. There were a ton of these. Matter of fact, on the day this book came out, this is the first time in a long time, probably prior to when the shutdown was happening and comics first started reopening and they were making everybody space out. There was a line outside my comic book store to get because of 3 Jokers. Yeah. I remember standing there and it was a jaded comic book collector who was like saying, are you here for you? I mean, fuck Jokers. And I was like, damn, man. He was like, nah, man, I'm here to get something else. Fuck this line. I was like, okay, dude, never mind. Relax. We're just waiting, man. Just come on.
That's a cool cover though, man.
Oh yeah. I really dig this, the color play on this. And let's go back and look at the other one. Which one do we like better? That one?
The black and white or this one? I think I like this one better. I mean, it's just different and
same artist though, right? Jason Fabuk?
Yeah. I was recently corrected. I think it's pronounced Facebook.
Well, that's what our live show is here for, to correct us on our pronunciations of names, words, and places.
I would send a text message from a friend of the channel who has recently disappeared lately, and he corrected me on my grammar.
Oh, okay. So how is it?
Facebook?
Fabok?
Fabok, yeah.
Look at that name. How are we supposed to know? It's not like it's the word
Fabok.
Speculation.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, stop it already.
Fabok.
All right, boys and girls. So, you know what? This is a pretty DC centric list, I must say. Let me see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 books. Nice mix of Marvel.
Batman too.
Yeah, nice mix of Marvel, Robin. Well, anytime we say Batman, that also means like a Robin adjacent book. So that's a nice mix of everything. So great job, guys in the collecting world. It's always fun. So hey, we got one more day. The drawing tomorrow for the CovrPrice giveaway. Sith Lordly, if you're still in the house, please drop a link in the live chat. So all you have to do is be a subscriber to the channel, click on that link, and you're automatically entered to get a 1-year free subscription to CovrPrice. and that will be 3 of you guys. We will be doing a separate 5,000 subs giveaway. I finally got everything, so I'll probably drop a video Thursday. And what I'm going to do is probably pick 4 or 5 winners. Each of the winners is going to win a slab, a trade, and a comic. So there you go. I'm trying to mix it around. So at least the first 4 or 5 winners are going to get a slab. Here, I got them here. Let me show you. I showed it on the other thing. Let me go full screen. So these are some of the trades, man. Punisher kills the Marvel Universe. This is thick as heck. X-Men Little Big Trouble. Doctor Strange the Oath. The Complete Shield, Lee and Jack Kirby. This is Dan Slott and Ramos, Spider Island. This is another Doctor Strange, Don't Pay the Ferryman. And let me show you some slabs. This one from the Big To Do. This is First Mention Evil Mariah, 9.8. I also got another slab that I'm ill prepared for. Gonna be doing this as well. This is Spider-Gwen #1, the Scotty Young variant. This has been signed 4 times, signed by Scotty Young, Jason Latour, Rico Renzi, and Robbie Rodriguez. So those are some of the slabs, all 9/8. So I will don't do anything yet. I will announce the contest winner, or excuse me, the contest entries sometime this week. Is going to be pre-recorded video, and as usual, we're going to tell you to leave a comment below, make it really nice and easy. And we want to thank you guys for supporting Lords of the Long Box for this last, ever since 2015. For some of you old school heads and people who are just joining the ride now, we're at 5,220 subs right now, so I really appreciate. Oh, it almost blinked out there. I want to take this moment here, and we're going to we already talked about the stuff with Chadwick Boseman, but I want to talk about specifically you men and men around our ages. I want to say from 40 to 50 to 55, whatever you may be. And this is a little on a personal note. I had a little bit of a scare about a month ago. I've been having some digestive issues. So when I look them up on WebMD, I either had IBS with constipation or I had colon cancer. So I went and saw a gastroenterologist, and they told me we need to get you a colonoscopy. Plus, you're 49 years old. It's right around the corner for you anyway. So I just told the guys on the Lords, and I told some other guys recently, but I went in for my colonoscopy, and they found 3 polyps inside my colon tract. And polyps are these things that build up inside your body. And luckily, they were benign. But my doctor told me that these 3 polyps, the largest one was 10 millimeters. So it's the size of maybe your thumbnail, or your thumb exactly. And he said that if not treated, these could lead to cancer. So just on a whim, I decided, because I wasn't going to get my colonoscopy until I was like 55, because I think people tell you 55. If I could have waited, they may have grown into cancer. I'm not saying they would have, but they took my 3 polyps out. They took them and they got a biopsy, and luckily they came back benign, meaning non-cancerous. But I have to go back and get checked every 3 years now to make sure that more don't grow and become cancerous. The key to cancer detection is to find it in its early stages so it doesn't happen. And the reason I want to bring this up, because a lot of us don't take care of our health, besides Manimal, who looks in great shape. But even if you're in great shape, like Chadwick Boseman was, you can still get cancer, right? Cancer does not matter, but especially colon cancer. If you eat a lot of processed foods, a lot of meat, especially red meat, you are at higher risk. If you're a certain demographic, more African Americans are more apt to get it, or people who have a genetic history of cancer. I beg of you, I implore of you to go check yourselves, because a lot of times we're comic book people, it's a stereotype. A lot of times we're just kind of lazy around reading books or whatever. But this really opened my eyes when I got checked, and it was crazy, because then I heard about the Chadwick Boseman thing. He was 39 years old when he got diagnosed. So when you think about, he was only 39 years old, he was outside the age range where you should actually get a colonoscopy, which is mind-boggling to me, that why the AMA have not changed the age range. And when I talked to some other people, they also know people who had colon cancer at an age before the recommended treating or the recommended screening ages, which is right now 45 to 55. I'm 49. So it was a slight scare. There was a couple of days where I was like, man, can you just give me the biopsy results? So, and then I had a meeting with him and he goes, you're lucky. We detect these early, but he said they could lead to cancer. So I'm just saying, go guys, get yourself checked out. If you're from 45 years old, go get yourself checked out. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not that bad. They sedate you. I woke up. Next thing you know, I saw a camera inside my colon on the screen. I didn't even feel it. It's not that bad. It's the prep drink you have to take before, which is that is something in itself. But besides that, just go get checked out. Take care of you guys. You know what I'm saying? You guys want to be out there, and just take care of yourselves. I mean, to this day, I think I just have to live with the reason, the digestive reasons, and I got to eat healthy. I got to start exercising again. It's been kind of hard because my gyms have been shut down. So, I'm trying to go swimming, take care of myself. We're at the second half of our lives. Hopefully I'm 49. If I could live another 40 years, 30 years, I'll be happy, but just take care of yourselves, especially your certain age. Or if you're, let me bring Manimal back in. If your family has a history of cancer, just call your doctor. I mean, if this should wake you up, man. Chadwick Boseman was in great shape. He started being a vegetarian and vegan, started eating healthy. If you looked at how ripped he was for the film. And then what's more amazing to me is a lot of the films he did over the last 4 years, he did his own stunts. I watched 21 Bridges again over the weekend. He was running.
I want to see that one.
It's a fantastic. The Russos produced it. It is a fantastic film. Fantastic.
It came out like right before Corona, right? Like it suffered from I feel like it just came out and kind of shut down.
It came out like at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. So it was before the shutdown, but it's a great, if you like a gritty crime drama, it's absolutely fantastic film. And, I watch it. I'm like, he started looking a bit gaunt already because I was like, he's kind of skinny in this. But I was like, what, actors change or whatever. And, I'm not, want to talk about how his appearance was. But he was running. There's a lot of physical things he did in this film. And it was just amazing to me. And if you think about Avengers Endgame, he was sick filming that as well. So, and then when you find out more and more about him, he didn't want any of his co-stars or even the director didn't know about his health. And he was still going to, visit kids and cancer in hospitals and the cancer ward. And he's just I got more sad the more I read about him as more things came out about this, right? Because he's a very private person, right? He married his wife while he was sick so that, there wouldn't be anything worried about, she was going to be taken care of for, the rest of her life. For all the people who came out for him. And it's just tragic to see anybody lose. I mean, I don't celebrity worship. I live in Southern California. I used to live in LA. You see celebrities everywhere. But, when you see somebody who was private, but such a big part of people's lives, you had small children everywhere who were never seeing the representation they had on the big screen that they saw with T'Challa. Sure, he wasn't the first black superhero ever, Blade, Steel, whomever, Luke Cage, but he really kind of brought hope to people, right? I mean, there was an entire continent of Africa that saw this movie in droves because they could finally relate to a character that he saw on the big screen, right? I mean, it just shows what he did for, communities of color and showing that you could do anything. He was a graduate of Howard University at HBCU, and he spoke, I think he spoke there last year for their commencement speech. Google that. That's gone viral as well. And I'll leave it at that. I don't know if you have any last words you want to say, Manimal. We're
just touch on kind of what you said, about how you noticed he was losing weight and stuff. And I know for a while before all this came out, there was pictures going around of him being looking pretty sickly, and people were, wondering if he was for a role, making comments. I know there was a derogatory name. I'm not even going to repeat what it was, but
on drugs.
Something not to get like too preachy or whatever. We are very in short supply, it seems like, of kindness these days. And especially with the internet, people feel real empowered behind the keyboard. But, you don't know what's going on in someone's life and you see them like that. And it's one thing if it's like an actor for a role and it's announced that way. But, take a second before you post or take a second before you judge someone's appearance. And I don't know, man, you never know what's really going on in their life. And it's sad to find out that that's actually what was going on, and he passed. So, a little kindness goes a long way, even if it's just one person here and there. So,
you know what?
Sorry, that's probably the nicest, preachiest thing you'll ever hear me say. I'm usually kind of an asshole. But
that is true. You are kind of an asshole, but you're our asshole. So you know what?
But hey, you know what? Like, I'm genuinely a good person. I just like to fuck around. So
Yeah. So you know what? I think that was well said, and I'm going to leave you with Wakanda forever, baby.
We must find a way to look after one another as if we were one single